1 in 3 Baltimore Ravens can't swim. At least that was the case when Marlon Humphrey took to social media to invite Michael Phelps to training camp to help him solve the problem of the fact that so many of the players on the roster can't swim. If you're ever looking for a heartfelt moment, sports are often going to be the place where you can find them, and today's story is no different. Marlon Humphrey found out that a number of his teammates never learned to swim, and the Baltimore Ravens recently opened a new aquatic center that they're utilizing in their training. So Marlon made a video on social media asking for Michael Phelps to come and help him rectify the problem. The ask was pretty simple: come to training camp and teach all of these guys how to swim. And conveniently, Michael Phelps actually has a charitable organization that provides swimming lessons to kids. The goal there is to help build confidence as well as cut down on the number of drowning cases that we see with children. But a lot of people don't realize how many adults make it to adulthood and a professional career in football without ever learning how to swim. So Michael Phelps, his son, and a number of people from his organization did come to training camp with the Baltimore Ravens, and they took a full day to help some of these guys learn how to swim. One of the things that Michael Phelps talked about in this experience was the fact that it was really heartwarming to see how many guys were willing to be vulnerable, to get into the water, admit that they didn't know how to do something, and to take time and learn from the very beginning. A lot of these guys were learning how to float for the first time, how to maintain their breathing in water, and also took to kickboards and pool noodles in order to learn how to do those things. Swimming sometimes seems like the type of basic that everybody learns how to do when they're a kid, the same type of way that you learn how to ride a bike or tie your shoes. But sometimes people don't learn how to do those things. And I think one of the things that's quite heartwarming about this moment is to see guys that we look at as such big athletic builds, pillars of like peak physical condition, admit that they don't know how to do something and be willing to learn how to do it. Not only that, but a lot of these guys knew that they were going to be learning how to swim on camera and that it would be utilized for things like this, that so many people would be talking about this moment. And I think it takes a pretty big amount of vulnerability to be willing to put yourself in that position. So for me, a moment like this really reminded me to actually take a minute and admit when you don't know how to do something. And that just because it seems like everyone else knows how to do this thing doesn't mean that everyone actually does. 1 in 3 out of an entire professional football roster is such a big number. And it was cool to see Michael Phelps not only show up to do this, but to talk about the issue, and also to see the Baltimore Ravens give a $100,000 donation to his charity. So I'm curious for you, is there anything in your life that you never learned how to do, that you've always felt a little too embarrassed to ask for help with? And does seeing a huge amount of the Baltimore Ravens admit that they don't know how to swim, ask for help, and get in the pool to learn, inspire you to maybe ask for help with one of those things?